I'm Matt Ray, and currently I'm the site director for our Indianapolis Construction Management program, and I'm an assistant professor of practice. The professor of practice title for me just shows that I come from industry. I've got industry experience, and that's a title that we give to our professors that have actually gone out and worked in industry before coming into the academic environment. For me, I have 30 years of industry experience. I was a field superintendent for a length of time, building residential and multifamily construction projects, and then I was a design engineering manager for basically it's the manufactured side of the construction where we're doing prefabrication of trusses, roof systems, those kind of things. So I managed that design department. My educational background, I've got a degree in architecture and construction management, and then later I went back and did a degree in facilities management. So I get to bring all that into the classroom here. And I was also, with my degrees, I'm actually a graduate from the construction program that I'm now teaching in. For me, working here and actually coming here as a student, one of the biggest advantages was cost, but it was actually location because I commuted. So I could commute to campus, and what that allowed me to do is work in industry while I was taking coursework here. And this campus is really known for that. We've since then attracted more traditional students that want to live on campus, so we have that option as well. So we have student housing. Students can come here. They could live on campus for a couple of years and then move out into an apartment or move back home to save some money. But again, it's that sense that you can go out and work and still come to campus and take your courses. I've got students that show up in class. They will have already hit the job site at 6 o'clock, and they'll come in with their PPE and their vests and everything for my 9 o'clock class, and as soon as my class is over, then they're back out at the job site. So it makes it really nice. It gives the students access to industry because there's so much going on in Indianapolis. And again, we've got so many office headquarters here in town on the north side and downtown Indianapolis, and it's a quick drive to get to most of our industry partners. Because our industry partners are so close, we have our industry partners come in and do our guest lectures so they can get in front of our students. We have our Society of Student Constructors, which is our student organization, and that's led by our students. They have faculty advisors, but really students do the legwork for that program, and they have industry partners reaching out to get in front of our student organizations. And it's nice. It's a nice way for industry to get in front of our students. Typically they bring in a lunch. Students get to hang out, have a conversation with those industry partners, get to see the type of projects that those partners are doing in industry and really around the area. It gives us access to do field trips pretty easily without having to jump on a bus and go someplace, because everything is fairly well within driving distance of campus. So if we had to go to a field trip to see a new project going up, or we go see a manufacturer or a testing site, it just gives students kind of quick access to go to those sites. And it's easy for our faculty to reach out to industry partners and arrange that because it is so close. We don't have to do a lot of the extra legwork with trying to make sure we have a scheduled shuttle to show up and the travel time. Typically we can do those site visits within the time allotted for a class. So if it's something we're doing with the whole class and taking them out to a site, if that's a 3-hour class, then we can typically get students there and then back to their jobs or back to another class in that time frame. To me, the real world experience, like, we try to do as much as we can in the classroom to replicate what those students are going to experience when they get out into industry. The required internship, now it's an 800-hour internship, which is equivalent to 2 summers working out on a job or with a construction partner. Typically our students will do more than that, more than what's required. We encourage them from their freshman year, that freshman summer on, is to start looking at internships, and it gives them a variety of different parts of the industry. So we may have students that come in because their parents or relatives might be in residential construction, but all of a sudden they realize that maybe the commercial side of the industry is what they're really excited about, or maybe it's heavy highway or the infrastructure piece of it. But those internships are so valuable because it puts students in front of the real type of job that they're going to be performing day in and day out for their career path. So that's a very important piece of it. But like I said, again, in the classroom, we can only replicate so much. We do practice problems. We do, like in my estimating class, we do a simulated bidding process where I become the owner, and I also play the role as the subcontractor. So I'm submitting my quotes to my students acting as a GC to put their bid together. and they have deadlines, but there's still only so much we can do in the classroom. And for students to really experience that out in industry ties that all together. So it's here what we're trying to show them in a classroom setting, but when they actually get out in the industry and they say, that's how that works, and their mind starts connecting all those pieces once they get that real world experience tied to what they're doing in our classrooms. I tell all my students that the trade side of it is so important to what we do. We might say white collared and blue collared work. I consider myself, even though I'm teaching in an academic environment, I still consider myself a blue collared worker. And part of that is the trade side of it is such a craft, it's such an art, and there's knowledge and experience that goes with doing that job right. I think anybody coming into our program with trade experience already has a leg up because they understand some of the means and methods of how a building goes together. What coming in here and actually taking it a step further with the academic route is really maybe more the analysis side of it, the management side of it, the business aspects of it, pulling your numbers together, and really managing people. So our students will go out and they'll find jobs where, yes, a big part of it is understanding how the project needs to come together, how that structure needs to come together. But the other piece of it is managing the people, because the people are what makes that happen. So coming here and working with in our classrooms and in student groups, it gives them a little bit of that experience of working with other people's doing collaboration. But again, it still connects back to the industry experience as well, because I want those students to take what we're doing in the classroom and transfer that to what they're able to do in industry, so that it kind of comes full circle as to why we're teaching what we're teaching, because they can see how that feeds directly into what they're doing when they do go out into industry. So our students, typically with our degree, I would say the most common starting point for our students is a project engineer, which is kind of assistant to project management or assistant to a field superintendent. So they're still starting at that entry level, which still pays really well for the industry. It's a good starting point, and that gives them time to really dig into the organization they're working for and the expectations. And if they've already done an internship or multiple internships, they kind of have a feel for what that role looks like. Other opportunities, we've had students that go out and they'll start as an estimator. Some of our students have skipped that project engineer role and went right into project management. Further down the road, I've got students that have become owners reps to kind of guide the owner side of it and going out and finding the GC. And then I've also got some students where they're more director over the business aspects of the organization that they work for. So just a variety. It just depends on where your niche is. And some of our students, maybe they don't feel like there's communication across the whole industry, no matter what role you're in. But I think it's different levels of communication, and I think depending on the student's personality, some students want to be out in the field where it's more hands-on, they're dealing with subcontractors coming in, whereas the project management piece, that gives students maybe more of a, not out on the job site every day, but a mix of being in the office, working with estimating and kind of that preliminary scheduling, kind of overseeing the project from a distance, but still getting to go out and see the project firsthand, but not be out there every day. And probably a closer connection from that project management to the owner that you're doing the project for as well. And then estimating, to me, that's deadlines and crunching numbers. So there might be a little bit of stress in those deadlines and meeting those deadlines. But if you really love, looking at a project as a whole and pulling subcontractor numbers together and presenting that, and really the challenge of getting awarded a bid and that project to keep your organization sustained with work coming in, that's just another side of it that students may want to go into. For our students that really have an interest in stepping up and leading, they're all here to learn construction and at some level take on a leadership responsibility, some more than others. I think in our classroom with our student groups, we've got different courses that we'll have. It's project-based, where we'll pair up students, whether it's a couple students or a group of 4 or 5, especially when it gets to the capstone. And it's when they do their capstone projects, it's actually a team of students that look at a set of prints, and they're putting their estimate, their schedule, their safety plan, the site logistics. They're doing all that in that course. And you typically have that one person that wants to take charge kind of rise to the top in that group. And again, they're all leading in their respective areas, but you still have that one person that's kind of coordinating all those efforts. So there's opportunities in the classroom here to do that, and again, opportunity out in the field when they're doing their internships and they're put into those types of roles. Even if you're directing your subcontractors, you still are taking on a leadership role to coordinate those kind of things. The other thing we've been able to do is our student competitions. We've had several student competitions where, again, it's teams that students are selecting team members and putting together, and then it's a similar process where they're looking at a project, putting numbers together, presenting their bid or their proposal, and those students that really want to lead kind of take on that drive to push the other students to be successful in those competitions. For me, if the student's interested in construction, one of our biggest plugs is going to be just the downtown location of our campus, that urban environment. Again, whether you want to live on campus or commute back and forth. Living on campus is nice. Downtown Indianapolis is within walking distance, so you can come work hard in your classes and then still have the whole city out there to explore. We've got our stadiums pretty much within walking distance for baseball team, basketball team, football team, all that's pretty close to campus. But I'd still go back to, for me, the most important thing is the connection to our industry partners. So just being able to come to campus and leave and go back out to work, if that's what you need to do, gain that industry experience. What students gain from that industry experience is time in front of those industry partners. So they're building their network from day one when they walk in the door here as a freshman. We have multiple career fairs here. We have 2 a year on this campus. Our students also have access to the West Lafayette campus for their career fairs. We attract probably about 25 to 30 industry partners for our career fairs. Those West Lafayette campus career fairs that we have access to are closer to 200 industry partners to get in front of. It's nice because we have shuttle service. I jump on the shuttle with students and I head up to West Lafayette so I don't have to drive. I don't have to worry about parking when we visit the campus. We can go and still take advantage of that larger campus and the opportunity there, but then still come back to our Indianapolis campus and have access to the industry partners and our students being able to, like I said, jump back and forth between classes and going out and doing work. Some of the things I take pride in, I'm on the south side of Indianapolis, so I'm not too far from campus here, but I drive by projects that I've worked on when I was out in industry that are still standing today. But even more so when I talk to my students, I look around at all the projects that our industry partners are working on, and I think, man, I would love to have been part of that, because some of these projects, like stadium projects, even our students that are doing heavy highway, like the 69 road work that's going on, there's like multiple industry partners working on that one large project, and I've got multiple students at each one of those firms that are actually out on the job site every day trying to complete that, and they'll be able to sit back and say, yeah, I remember when I worked on this project, or we added 69 extension through Indianapolis there. So I enjoy that part of it, and I think that opens up a student's mind to maybe different avenues with their internship, and to think about, what do they want to do with their career moving forward, and what are some of those projects they think would be great to work on. I'd say the majority of our students kind of stick around the Indiana area, but there's still opportunity. A lot of our industry partners are national companies, so if the student decides that, hey, I want to go travel, I want to see a little bit of the world, there's opportunity to go into construction and actually go out and see different parts of the state or different parts of the country, and eventually you could find your way back to Indiana. But it's just there's plenty of opportunity in the construction industry to travel and really experience life maybe a little bit differently and in different areas. My emphasis is really the downtown location. Our students historically, they've been those students that are really good socially. Yeah. They're already working in industries. They have some trade experience or industry experience coming into the classroom, and they're trying to still go out and work while they're taking courses. Those are the students I think that make a nice, well-rounded construction management student, because their plan is not to be an engineer and sit in an office and focus on high-level calculations. Their plan is to go out and understand how buildings go together and coordinate and work with people. And I think that balance is what our industry is looking for our construction managers, the balance between those social skills and hands-on application experience and how those buildings go together. So for our industry partners, our construction management industry partners, our CAC is such a large group because they're looking to hire students, because there's a need to hire students to replace retirees or people that have gone on to do other things. They're invested in our students. They come to our career fairs, they come to our classrooms, they open up their job sites. They love talking about the industry to our students. They love sharing how they rose through the organization from starting as a project engineer, and now they're VP of operations. So they see that path for our students, and they're really looking for that student that's eager, that wants to get out there, that's hardworking, and that's well-rounded, because It's not just knowing how the building goes together, but it's having those, if we say soft skills, and how to work with people, how to engage people, even on job sites when you're thinking about making sure that you can work with people and de-escalate situations and communicate properly. All that's important, and our industry partners are looking for students that have some of that industry experience through their internships, or even if it's year-round work, kind of part-time status, and they want to keep you on. And that's the value in Indianapolis, is when you do a summer internship, that you're working with a partner that sees value in you as an employee. They don't want to let you go because they don't want another industry partner to pick you up. So they want to reach out and say, hey, why don't you stay on part-time, so they can keep that connection, and especially if it's closer to graduation, they want to keep you on for the summer and then maybe through the next school year, so that they can be first in line to make you that full-time offer upon graduation. And that's how a lot of our students are finding their final position, is through that internship and with those industry partners that just don't want to let them go because they see the value in the students that have come through their internship program, and they want to keep them for their own purpose moving forwards.